When I first heard Dr. Richard Gaffin's exegesis of Hebrews 3 and 4, you can find this in several places. One place is in his chapter in the OPC's 50th anniversary volume,
Yes.
Pressing Toward the Mark on the Sabbath. He points out something very significant regarding the relationship between Christ and Moses. And what we have here is Moses was faithful as a servant in God's house, but Christ is superior and faithful as a son. And so, sometimes we see illustrations like that, we might miss the big picture. The big picture is there's one house.
Yeah.
There aren't two houses, and Moses is not serving in a different house with a different group of people. Even things so basic as that are significant and foundational to Hebrews as the author is working out here this basic plan and purpose for God's people, whether Old or New Covenant. And it's all leading towards Christ. Christ is set against the backdrop of the Old Testament, but not as an afterthought.
Right.
And that was a great controversy, at Westminster a decade ago, the hermeneutic that the New Testament authors are just reinventing or just adding Christ to Old Testament texts where he wasn't there organically. The author of Hebrews is certainly rejecting anything of that sort.
Yeah, and several times he says Moses spoke of the things in the future.
Yes.
He also talks about, well, I don't want to go all these little technical detail verses, but yeah, several times it's stated that what Moses saw is he saw the heavenly tabernacle. It says in chapter 8. And so that implies at some level the heavenly tabernacle, and we don't know exactly what he saw, but God made him understand that the tabernacle that he was talking about in Exodus, the physicalness of the tabernacle, was representative of a true tabernacle that was already existing.
Yeah.
While Moses wrote. So there's a sense that the heavenly tabernacle existed back in Moses's day, but there's another sense it's more fully shown to us when Christ comes in the New Testament. And then there's the new heavens and new earth version of it. So there's another angle to the continuity.
Yeah.
If I may, let me expand upon my contrast within continuity little speech.
I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
The continuity being the fundamental is more fundamental, but the contrast, and then various scholars have different ways of noting that the contrasts are different types of contrasts. And I sort of look at a whole bunch of them, get them down to two types of contrast. So it's a contrast, but in what sense? Sense number one, antithetical, meaning X and not X. So Moses or the Aaronic priesthoods, they stood, but Jesus, he sat down. They had sins. Jesus didn't have sin, so it's just X and not X. So these are these type of contrasts. But there's a whole bunch of other contrasts that I'll call graded or escalating. The priest was like this, but Jesus was better. The priest was like that, but Jesus was better. And so you have two types of contrasts. Blood was required for forgiveness of sins. Well, that's a continuity, both in the Old and New Testament. Oh, but Old Testament, it was the blood of animals. How much more, escalating, is the blood of Christ who offers up himself.
Yeah.
So even those escalating contrasts are at some level showing the continuity as it sort of turns out.